I wanted to tell you this elaborate story about my brother, whom we'll refer to as Mr. T, but I found that the entertainment to content ratio was a little low, so here's the short of it. Mr. T wasn't active in the church, and it took 3 family members working through no less than 4 ward clerks and 3 bishops a total of 3 years to get his records transferred into the correct ward. That was work. And this isn't some story where he was actively running away from the church. He just wasn't active in the church. The process is relatively simple. Meet the bishop, fill out the new member form, hand that to the ward clerk enters it into MLS the following Sunday, the records are transferred, home teaching and callings are assigned, said member gets invited to activities, and fellowshipped. But the reality was one that anyone in a singles ward is quite familiar with. Mr. T meets the wrong bishop. Family members send Mr. T's info to the correct bishop, but the ward clerk is heading off to a birthday party after church and doesn't get around to it that Sunday. Or the ward clerk loses the form at home, or is sick the next Sunday, or it's the end of the semester and he's moving out, or he goes home for a month, or gets married. Repeat steps 1 through now ad nauseum. Welcome to the singles ward. Although in reality it is quite unlikely that Mr. T would have continued going to church, if he had been invited to that ward's boating activity, he would have gone. My brother may be allergic to penicillin, but he's not allergic to making friends and having fun. Let's take a step back. There's a lot of prayer and effort that goes into reaching out to those who are struggling and less active. And the Lord has asked us to solve problems by studying it out in our mind first and asking for guidance. Studying requires data. How can we study data we don't have, or data that's in the wrong place? How can Mr. T's would-be home teachers pray about how they could reach out to him when they don't even know he exists? Or if his phone number was updated, but in a spreadsheet that the Elders Quorum president created that the ward clerk never got a hold of and was never backported to MLS or LDS.org? The Lord has declared his house as a house of order. There's no exception clause. So why are things so disorganized? There's a lot of reasons, and it's not anybody's fault. Here's one scenario. By the time someone, say a ward clerk, has learned their calling effectively, poof, they're gone. Moved, married, graduated, or even inactive. The solution isn't just a matter of better training. We need to make it easier to do the right thing in the right way. In fact, we need to make it easier to do the right thing than to do the wrong thing or nothing at all. So how do we do that? Well, I'd like to suggest that we can more effectively use computers to do what they do best, handling forms and generating reports, validating phone numbers, sending automated reminders, while people do what they do best, rewarding, encouraging, loving. Thus, we can maximize the efforts of the 99s as we reach out to the ones.